and welcome to Yoga with Alicia. I'm so glad you decided to join me today for our session on change. We're going to jump right in with our 3-part breath. So if you come to sitting on your mat, legs crossed, one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest, we're going to start focusing on our breath in through your nose and bring that breath all the way down to your belly, letting your hand expand with each breath. And then exhale through your nose, pushing all that air out of your belly. Inhale again, pushing the air into your belly, letting it expand, and then expanding your rib cage. And as you exhale, your ribs come back in, your belly flattens. Another deep breath. Fill your belly, fill your ribs, and then let your chest rise. As you exhale, let your chest fall, your rib cage relax, and your lower belly relax. Keep breathing in through the nose, belly, ribs, chest, and then exhaling, chest, ribs, belly. Taking some time just to breathe on your own pace. Being able to turn to your breath or a breath practice when you're feeling overwhelmed with a lot of change that can be happening. This is a great way to calm the mind and feel back in control of your life. Allowing your thoughts to slow and not attach to any of them. Let them come and go. It can help you find some clarity. Take a few more breaths on your own. Some movement. So extending your legs out in front of you and then lengthening up through the spine. Fold at your hips. Reach for your feet. You can reach anywhere down your leg, wherever is comfortable, wherever you're at. Inhale and lengthen through your spine. As you exhale, you can deepen the fold. A nice stretch through the back of the legs. Get warmed up. Come back up to a neutral position and bring your feet out wide apart. They don't have to be too wide. Keeping your toes pointed forward, spine extended. And you're going to start to walk your fingers forward, folding at the hips. Keep your thighs rotated in, so your knees are pointing up. Inhale as you lengthen. Exhale as you deepen the fold. Walk your hands over to your left foot. Get a nice stretch through the right side body. We handle change much better when we're flexible and sway in the wind, just like the trees change direction. walk your hands over to the right, onto that right ankle. Same thing, get a stretch through the left side body. Warmed up, working on our flexibility, both physically and mentally. Take a few deep breaths here. Then walk your hands back to center. Then come up to sitting up tall. Bring your feet back together. Tuck your feet up and bring your knees around. Into standing. The long way on your mat. Come into mountain pose. Your arms down by your sides. And your feet together. Firmly planted in the floor. Take a few deep breaths here as you engage your thighs and your core. Keeping your shoulder blades pulled down your back. Taking some time to get rooted. The deeper our roots go, the stronger we are. I'm going to come into tree pose now. So taking our right knee out to the side, right heel comes onto the left ankle. As you're ready, slide that foot up your leg, either below or above the knee. Just make sure your foot's not on top of your knee joint of your standing leg. Keep the core engaged, looking ahead to a static spot on the floor or the wall in front of you, reaching above. And sway in the breeze a little bit. Come side to side. And then find your center again. Reach your arms out nice and wide, fanning your fingers out. And bring them back around to your heart. Step back to the ground. Back to mountain. Ground yourself. Feel those roots coming deep. Switch to the other side. So take your left knee out to the side. And bring your left heel up this inside of your right leg. Hands come to your chest. At your heart center. Keeping your thighs engaged, your core engaged, reaching up overhead. Keep those roots deep in the ground. Just like a tree, our roots hold us steady, and you can sway back and forth. A little extra core work out there. And if you fall out of it while you're swaying or any other time, just regroup and come back to the tree pose. Outstretch your arms, fanning out your fingers, letting your branches grow wide. And bring your hands, circle around back to your heart, and step both feet back onto the floor. Step your feet wide, and you're going to turn so that your right foot is pointing towards the short end of your mat, and your left foot is still along the short edge. Your right arm is going to slide down your right leg, left arm comes up in pyramid pose. Getting that little twist through the side body and your spine. Come back to standing. Turn your feet so that we're switching directions. Your left foot is pointing toward the front of your mat. And your left hand slides down your leg. Right arm comes up, reaching for the sky. Push that hip back. Your right hip pushes back to get a nice long line through both legs. Come back up to standing. Turn so your feet are together, and we're going to face the short edge of our mat. Deep breath in, reach your arms up overhead, and fold at the hips. Forward fold. Let your fingers come down to the mat, and you can flow back and forth, sway in the breeze. Tuck your elbows into your hands. Let gravity help to lengthen that spine. You can bend your knees here. Hands come down onto the mat. You're going to step back into downward facing dog. You can take a minute and pedal out your legs there. Get a nice good stretch. Hips reach for the sky. Shoulder blades stay tucked to your back. And drop your knees now onto the mat. Widen them and sink your hips back into child's pose. Arms extended out in front of you. Heart melting to the mat. This is a great pose to come into if you're feeling overwhelmed, if change is getting to be too much, if there's lots going on. You can come into child's pose and take a few deep breaths to relax. Come up onto all fours and press back into downward facing dog. And now we're going to come onto your side, so taking your right side, lengthening out, roll onto that right edge of your foot into side plank. Left arm reaches for the sky. Holding here, try and keep everything nice and tight, keep that core tight. Bring your left arm back to the mat, and we're going to switch sides, so you can roll onto the left side. Right arm reaches for the sky. Keeping those hips up. Nice long line from your feet all the way to the crown of your head. And bring your right arm back to the mat. Back into downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward, forward fold. Bend your knees here. Take some nice deep breaths and just let everything go. Tuck your hands behind your shins or hold onto your ankles. Keeping the fold, step your feet wide on either side of your mat. And bring your hands to the mat. Inhale, walk your hands out to a flat back position. And walk the back in for a nice deep forward fold. As you inhale, extend your spine. Exhale, deepen the fold. And walk your hands over to the left foot. Getting a nice right side body stretch. Slowly walk them over to the right. Taking a few deep breaths on the right side. Walk them back to the middle. You're going to bend both your knees into a nice squat. And you're going to get your bum onto the ground and lie back onto your back. Keep your knees bent and your feet flat on the ground, arms extended in a T. You're going to let those knees drop to the right-hand side. Gaze comes to the left for spinal twist. If you're feeling too much pulling in the back, you can tuck a blanket underneath your knees to help prop them up a little bit. Take some nice deep breaths right into the side body here. This is where we gain our flexibility. Bring your knees back to the center. I'm going to switch sides, so let them fall to the left. Your gaze turns to the right. As we learn to loosen up our body, our physical body, and start to also shape the way that our mind works, we can allow some more flexibility in our thinking. Don't have to be so rigid. Bring your knees back to the center. You can tuck your knees together and walk your feet out to the sides of your mat. Let your arms just relax and feel supported by your mat. If you prefer a traditional Savasana pose, you can extend those legs out so they're resting on the mat. Let everything relax. This is your opportunity to take some time to let all those thoughts, all those decisions, worries, changes, let them just float away for a few minutes. And let your mind be clear. And when you have clarity of mind, the decisions become easier. You can follow your heart. And you'll have more peace. Take a few deep breaths here as you let your body melt into the mat, to allow your thoughts to come and go as they please, not really getting attached to any of them. Seeing what comes up for you. You can stay in this position for as long as you like. And when you're ready, you can start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, coming back to your breathing, starting to notice the things around you, sounds, the feeling of the floor, underneath you on your mat. And when you're ready, you can roll onto your left side. And stay there, take your time. And when you're feeling comfortable, you can come up to a seated position. Thank you so much for joining me again today for your practice. You can bring your hands to your heart, and as you go about your day, love and light.